Conor McGregor vs. Denis Siver, the fight that set the stage for greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you back to January 18, 2015, at the TD Garden in Boston. The air was thick with anticipation, the energy of the crowd electric. On that fateful night, two men entered the octagon, one a rising star, cocky and brash, the other a seasoned veteran, quiet and determined. This is the story of Conor McGregor and Denis Siver, a clash that wasn't just about punches and kicks. It was about destiny, pride, and a brewing storm in the world of mixed martial arts. The characters: Conor McGregor, the notorious one. In 2015, Conor McGregor was not yet the megastar he would become, but he was well on his way. Hailing from Dublin, Ireland, McGregor was a charismatic, trash-talking striker with a flair for the dramatic. He had burst onto the UFC scene in 2013, quickly gaining attention for his flashy fighting style and even flashier personality. He wasn't just fighting opponents in the cage. He was fighting for recognition, respect, and, above all, superstardom. McGregor's rise was meteoric. With a southpaw stance and pinpoint striking, he had already dispatched fighters like Marcus Brimage, Max Holloway, Diego Brando, and Dustin Poirier. Each victory came with a flurry of verbal jabs outside the cage and a masterclass in precision inside it. By the time he faced Denis Siver, McGregor's record stood at 16-2, with a growing reputation as a knockout artist. But Conor wasn't just here to win fights, he was here to take over. In the lead-up to UFC Fight Night 59, McGregor made sure to keep the spotlight firmly on himself. He belittled Denis Siver in interviews, calling him a little German midget and predicting a swift knockout. His bravado was relentless, his confidence unshakable. For McGregor, this fight wasn't just about defeating Siver. It was about proving to the world that he was ready to challenge for the UFC Featherweight Championship. Denis Siver, the silent warrior. On the other side of the octagon stood Denis Siver, a man cut from a very different cloth. Born in Omsk, Russia, and later representing Germany, Siver was a veteran of the sport, with over 30 professional fights to his name. He was a kickboxer by trade, known for his spinning back kicks and durable frame. Siver wasn't flashy. He wasn't loud, but he was dangerous, a true martial artist who let his fists and feet do the talking. With a record of 22-9-1 coming into the fight, Siver had faced some of the toughest competitors in the featherweight and lightweight divisions. He had victories over fighters like George Sotiropoulos and Charles Rosa, and though he wasn't known for his knockout power, he was a grinder, a fighter who could weather storms and outwork his opponents. Siver knew he wasn't the favorite against McGregor, but he didn't care. For him, it was just another fight, another chance to prove himself. The build-up, fire meets ice. The weeks leading up to the fight were marked by a stark contrast between the two fighters. McGregor, true to form, dominated the media landscape. He taunted Siver relentlessly, dismissing him as nothing more than a stepping stone on his path to a title shot. He promised the Boston crowd a spectacular finish, and they believed him. After all, McGregor had a knack for delivering exactly what he promised. Siver, meanwhile, remained silent for the most part. He wasn't interested in verbal battles. He was preparing for a real one. While McGregor was busy entertaining the world, Siver was grinding away in the gym, sharpening his tools for the biggest fight of his career. The odds were heavily stacked against him, but that didn't matter. He knew that all it took was one well-timed strike to silence the Irishman and the roaring crowd. The fight, a star is born. When fight night finally arrived, the atmosphere inside the TD Garden was electric. Thousands of fans had come to see their hero, Conor McGregor, in action. As McGregor made his walk to the octagon, draped in the Irish flag, the crowd erupted in cheers. Denis Siver followed, stoic and focused, ready for battle. The first round began, and McGregor immediately took control. He stalked Siver around the cage, throwing precise punches and spinning kicks. Siver, to his credit, stayed composed and tried to find openings, but McGregor's speed and accuracy were overwhelming. The crowd roared with every strike that landed, sensing that their man was on the verge of something great. In the second round, McGregor turned up the pressure. He landed a series of crisp left hands that rocked Siver, forcing him to retreat. With just under 2 minutes remaining, McGregor landed a brutal punch that sent Siver to the canvas. He followed up with a barrage of strikes until the referee stepped in, waving off the fight. McGregor had done it a TKO victory in round 2. The aftermath, eyes on the prize. As soon as the fight ended, McGregor didn't waste any time. He jumped over the cage and sprinted toward UFC featherweight champion Jose Aldo, who was seated in the front row. The two men locked eyes, and the arena exploded in cheers. McGregor had set the stage for one of the most anticipated title fights in UFC history. In the post-fight interview, McGregor was as brash as ever. "We are not here to take part," he declared. "We're here to take over." He had delivered on his promise of a spectacular finish, and now he had his sights set firmly on the featherweight crown. Denis Siver, though defeated, earned respect for his toughness and professionalism. He didn't engage in trash talk before or after the fight. He simply acknowledged that McGregor was the better man that night. For Siver, it was another chapter in a long and storied career, one that would be remembered for his willingness to face anyone, anywhere. Controversies and legacy. As with any fight involving Conor McGregor, this bout wasn't without controversy. Some critics argued that Siver was an easy opponent, hand-picked to give McGregor an impressive win and set up a title shot. Others pointed to McGregor's antics, both before and after the fight, as evidence of his arrogance. But love him or hate him, one thing was clear. Conor McGregor was a star, and he was here to stay. For McGregor, the victory over Siver was a turning point. It catapulted him into a title fight with Jose Aldo, a fight that would cement his legacy as one of the greatest featherweights of all time. For Siver, it was a hard-fought battle against a future legend, a moment that added depth to his legacy as a warrior who never backed down from a challenge. Conclusion: the night the notorious rose. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is the story of Conor McGregor vs. Denis Siver, a fight that wasn't just about two men in a cage, but about a young fighter's rise to greatness. On that night in Boston, McGregor didn't just win a fight, he captured the imagination of fans around the world and took one giant step closer to immortality. Thank you for listening.